Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Wally, and today we're talking about the NFL. Look, 2 weeks left, man. 2 weeks left. Real quick, 2 weeks left of the NFL right now. We're still going through it, and of course, if you're watching this video, yes, I'm a day behind because of the simple fact of a lot of things were going on. A lot of things going on. Of course, holidays wasn't really the reason, just a lot of things going on. But like I said before, a lot of things going on. So before we start this off, let me do something real quick. I just remembered I did do something, which I've not been working on, but hold on. Give me a moment, guys. Give me a moment. Because I actually want to make sure we get this all figured out. Matter of fact, yeah, give me a moment. Interesting. Okay, cool. Okay. Give me a moment. All right. I'm just trying to get this post up so you guys can see this. So you guys know this ahead of time, so you know that no one ain't cheating, quote unquote, or no one's like lying as far as who made what picks this week and all this, etc., etc. So as you guys can see, hopefully it's on the screen right now. Yeah, it is. Let me bulge this bad boy up. Let me bulge this up a little bit. As you guys see over here on our community tab, let me see. Let me look at the screen. Yeah, let me pump this up a little bit more so y'all can see it. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, that should be good enough. Hopefully, right? As you guys can see it right here on the screen, that we did made our me and Jay made our picks at the time of this post. Marcus then made his picks, but I do have Marcus picks right now, so don't worry about that overall. But just to let you know, these picks were already made before the games actually started, so just letting you know that in advance. As far as Marcus said that he had them since Saturday, but he just forgot to send me over. However it is, but as you guys can see, look, got Chiefs, you got Ravens, clear shot. I think anyone made this. And, of course, you guys see it is a day ago. So don't be saying, oh, yeah, I cheated. No one didn't cheat. Trust me. These were already made ahead of time. So, yeah, just putting that out there because, of course, anytime we're late, a.k.a. me, then, of course, you already know, like, yeah, I don't want to make sure everything is Gucci. So taking that off the screen. And, yeah, pretty much if you guys saw what you saw on the screen, hey, man. Hey, thank you for everybody out there that's putting in that work. You know, we got 15 public watch hours, as far as starting a new channel. But, yeah, more to come. That's for sure. More to come. But, yeah, get that off. Get off of there. Let me swing that back. I will look. Actually, let me keep that there. Okay. So, coming from last week, we got 2 games. Okay, yeah, no. Let me say that again. Coming from last week, we got amongst the 3, me, Marcus, and Jay. I won week 16 with 12 wins, 4 losses. Marcus was 11-5, and Jay was 10-6. So there you go. As far as the overall score for up until week 16, I believe I'm still leading even now with the increase of this week. I'm still leading this week. I still need to update the list. So yeah, just give me time on that one. I've been doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm juggling a lot of things right now. So yeah, but nonetheless, that is where it's at today. But let's talk about a few games. Let me get these games actually up so I can see which is which. Because I did made a conversation piece last time, and you guys loved the video actually when I was actually a little bit more descriptive with it, because it's pretty much been one of the videos when it comes to reviewing sports that y'all actually watched a little bit more longer than the other ones that are pretty much more short. So I'm glad for that. Thank you guys for tuning on into those and watching. Especially if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing because there's more to come. But hold on. Looking at last week's games, right? Because I do want to talk about some of the last week games as far as who needed to make a statement last week and then who had to make sure to keep themselves at bay and all the other stuff before we go into the next week's games. So I don't remember the names of every team that had to make a statement, quote unquote, but I do remember there are certain teams that I had to look at and be like, they were on the questionable fence of how you want to handle yourself in these games later in the the season. I think, yeah, Denver and Chargers, like Broncos and Chargers, was going to be a good game to look at because it was one of those statement games where you have to ask yourself, who amongst these teams behind the Chiefs are going to come out and step out and say, we're going to make something happen? And I voted for the Broncos, but they lost against the Chargers, sadly, even though it was by one touchdown. So, it's something to be said. Broncos, I'll say it right now, Broncos, they're not far behind, bro. They're not far behind. With everything they went through, hey, look, shout out to Sean Payton. He's shown you without a shadow of a doubt he belongs he still is deserving of being a head coach in this league, even though there's a lot of young players coming in, and he still shows he can come in here, still win, have a winning record this year with a new quarterback, year one, and be this good. And, that's big testament to the Denver Broncos for getting themselves well paired up, even though the fiasco with Russell Wilson, going downhill a little bit because of, not be able to rework contracts and everything else. But nonetheless, it all worked out for them in the best. They got a new rookie quarterback. That's great. And they got some future moves in the plans. So, hey, with everything they have going on, it's pretty good, even though they did lose. But, hey, they're still making a good forward step moving on. Next on up, another team I think that had to make a statement was the Houston Texans. Of course, Houston's been on the teeter-totter this year. Granted, they've been the teeter-totter again last year, but last year was one thing. You would think this year they sort of progressed a little bit more better. So far, technically, you could say they did in a sense, but with the certain teams that they had to face and everything else, and knowing that their division is not really competition, even though they kept the games close, it's really one of those teams that had to really make a statement, especially against the Chiefs, to see if they're even going to have a chance in the playoffs. And it doesn't seem that they really are. And plus, if you saw the games from yesterday, of course, then you know that more likely so they may not have a chance at all anyways. So it's going to get very ugly for them, which means they're back to the drawing board. And honestly, Houston definitely going to have to get something more up. And more than anything else, just being healthy and a little bit more being consistent. Because there was moments, I ain't gonna lie, there was moments like when we saw the Texans versus the Lions, you would think that defense really showed out. And I think if they're more consistent on defense or maybe get one or two pieces, that defense is going to be better, where they're going to actually start playing way more better than they ever have. So those are some things I think that they should consider working up on, plus at the same time, anything on the offense. But yeah, big time stuff. And definitely the next game, Steelers versus Ravens. This was definitely a big talk game because you really had to sit there and say to yourself, who really wants it? And these two were the biggest storyline, in my opinion, that week because of the same fact that they're both have the same record now at 10-5 at that point in time after that game. And now, the Ravens now extended that further by being I think it's 11-5 right now, and then the Steelers are now like 10-6, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me recheck because I want to make sure I'm being correct when I say that. Yep. Ravens are 11-5 and Steelers are 10-6. So that right there is just very, very sad in a sense because one, I mean, I can't really say it's sad because let's be honest, I already had the Ravens beating the Steelers the first time, and even though I voted for the Steelers that past week, honestly, I just thought, I don't know, because I really just looking at it, and I'm just like, man, I should have. I know I should have went for the Ravens, but I didn't because at the end of the damn day, I did said it. Steelers had to make a statement towards the end, and I did thought, maybe, just maybe, even though I didn't know that Justin Fields was injured at the point. I think he was injured at that point. But I thought that, they were going to make a switch because Russell was slowly but most likely surely declining. And I think they had to make a switch because Russell at that point, even without George Pinkett, there's not enough weapons to really move the ball around. And let's be honest, if Russell's not running the ball, then at this point, someone has to be run dominant. And, of course, I thought Justin Fields was going to be in that game to be the run dominant. So far, they've been doing that, quote-unquote, that co-op, two quarterbacks, but one of them is going to be the runner type thing. And they haven't really exploded on that per se. I mean, it came in pitch moments, but not to the point that you want it to be. So it's like it looks like a very small miniature idea. But honestly, it's sadly this is what happens when you're a team that is quote unquote defense heavy, run dominant, ideal, and barely any air, any air movement. And that's pretty much what the Steelers are at this point, because they're not that, like with Ben, it was different. You can be more air movement, but this time, no, not the case. And, right now, this is very much a very iffy situation for the Steelers, because right now, with what they've done so far, and even these past two last games, is giving me the vibes of Steelers, y'all came the long way. Y'all got better from last season and the year before, but now you're still the team that is good to play, but the problem is you can't get over it. And that's it's really sucks to see it. It really sucks because for a team that has been so good and yet you still can't get over, that's problematic. It's pretty problematic. And granted, teams, all that, it all correlates. The teammates, everybody, people that are getting injured, people on the sidelines and everything else, that's all there. But man, when we speak about the mentality of next man up, you would think that's where it gets up, especially when you're about to hit to the playoffs. Lord have mercy, I can't talk today. And it was just downright sad. It's just downright sad. But hopefully they get it together. Hopefully they get this whole situation. But hey, like I said, Ravens wanted it better. Lamar, he made sure he put a stamp of approval on beating the Steelers, and he made it happen. So nothing to say other than that. Because like I said, that was a who wanted it more game. And, Lamar and the Ravens, they proved they wanted more. So, and now they're the ones in the hot seat leading the way in the AFC North. So, yeah. Next on up, there really wasn't much. I got to remember most of these games that were played last week because nothing was really that worth of talking about. But I want to make sure when I speak about some of these teams, I want to make sure some of these are actually worth talking about. Okay, right. So, okay, I'm glad I actually looked. Okay, so look. Let's talk about the debut of Michael Penix Jr. You guys, how do you feel about Michael Penix Jr.? How do you feel about him? What do you guys look at? How do you feel about him? I think Michael Penix Jr. is okay. I mean, he out of the 27 attempts, he missed 9 of them, landing 18 catches, which is not bad. He put up 202 yards for the first game of his day. I mean, granted, it's against the Giants, so let's not make it seem like it was ultimately great. But he only made 1 interception. He didn't put the ball into the end zone, which, it is what it is. But to you guys, from what you've seen in comparable to all this, do you think he's going to be okay coming in the season? Because I truly do believe right now, if you've been listening to the news and everything else, Kirk Cousins and the Falcons are pretty much done. It's a done day. It's like 1 year, done deal. Falcons are like, hey, look, we're going to move on to Michael Penix. And, do you guys think he is a good deal to move on forward? Do you guys think he's going to be good next season coming in with everything going on? And plus, what's crazy is the Falcons still got a chance to make it to the playoffs. The Falcons literally still have a chance. They got to face the Commanders, which I don't believe they're going to beat, and they got to face the Panthers. So if they magically are able to make it, hey, I mean, granted, it's going to be because of Kirk Cousins more than anything else because he played more, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so tell me, what do you guys think about Michael Penix Jr.? Because I do believe Michael Penix, he has a decent future. I mean, first game in, I know, yeah, he faced the Giants. The Giants ain't nothing special. True. You're right. They ain't nothing special. But think about it. If there ain't nothing special and he did nothing crazy that game, then I think it's a nice ceiling to say you can measure him out and say if he's okay or not. I think he's okay comparable to what everybody else did the first year, like Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, because even their first games, they didn't get the ball into the end zone. But as they start flourishing, they eventually figure that out. And, yeah, the ball started flying into the end zone every single time. So it ain't nothing to it. But I do think Michael Penix Jr. is going to be decent. Of course, first game, let's see what happens next game and the next game after, and we'll see what goes on from there. But yeah, just wanted to speak on that. Next, don't need to talk about. I mean, yeah, Detroit did win, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about Detroit a little bit. The other thing I'm gonna say about Detroit, because of course Detroit and Vikings definitely need to make a statement on who's gonna win these games. Now, Vikings almost could have lost, which allowed the Alliance to take a step forward, but lucky enough they maintained. But that's another conversation for the Vikings later down the stretch. But as always, Lions, even with injuries, they're still maintaining and holding down the job. So they're going to keep moving forward. They're going to keep doing what they got to do. Good stuff. Good for them. Let's keep on going. Nothing much really there. Yeah, nothing much really there. Okay, yeah, let's go in here. Let's talk about it. Eagles versus Washington Commanders. Now, I will say this. I did not see this coming, even though I did vote for the Commanders, but I did not see this coming. But I didn't know. So I ended up was being told when I was on another sports show that was covering these games. I did not know Jalen Hurts got concussion protocol. I did not know he got concussion injury. So it was really crazy when I looked at the score and I saw this happen, and I'm like, oh, well. And then I was like, because when I saw that they had Kenny Pickett, I would think they were saving Jalen Hurts and they let Kenny Pickett play. And I'm like, okay, there's no way they could lose, because the first half was like, the first quarter was like 21-3 or something like that, 21-1. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, there's no way they're gonna lose this game. There's no way they're gonna lose. I mean, even Kenny Pickett can't screw the game up. And then I was wrong, because he definitely screwed. Because between him and the Eagles, they definitely screwed the game up. You would think Saquon would be the saving grace, holding the team up, and then they made some smart plays where Kenny Pickett didn't make too much screw ups, but sadly not the case. And even with Jalen Daniels throwing 2 picks, one more than Kenny Pickett, the Commanders made sure they handled business and kept Kenny Pickett under 200. Which means they didn't have enough time to even make enough plays. They even control the ground game, because to a degree, I'll say this, they control the ground games to a degree, because in the most cases, they still put up 211 rushing yards overall, right? And Saquon was mostly the biggest part of it, because he had 150 yards, 29 carries, 2 touchdowns overall. And on an average, that was 5.2 yards per. So that's crazy to get 5 yards every single time. But sadly, with that concussion, that sort of slowed down. It probably could have been more on the defense if Jalen was there, because Jalen only rushed for like 3 carries with 41 yards. So that was 13.7 per. So that alone tells me, like, if Jalen Hurts was not concussed, this would have been way more dangerous overall. But yeah, the air game wasn't working for them at all. Kenny Pickett, aka Kenny Pickett ain't it. He can't get it done. He can't get the job done. He just can't get the job done. People try to sit here and say, oh, the problem is, well, he didn't have an O-line. That's why he couldn't make better plays. I'm like, bro, you got a better O-line now. You got a better team now. Well, technically, still the Eagles are a little bit the same, but still, you got a better team now, supposedly, right? I mean, most people say the Eagles are better than the Steelers, supposedly, right? You tell me. But if that's the case, you're on a better team and you still suck. Okay. Okay, yeah. Still sucks. He still sucks. To this day, he still sucks. So, yeah. But that was some pretty bad news. I mean, granted, the Eagles may not care about clearing and getting that bye. Maybe they do. But if they do, they pretty much lost it. And they could lose against the Cowboys, because right now, Cooper, I got to get into it. Cooper Rush, he's playing pretty saucy. I still believe the Cowboys ain't ish, but he's playing a little bit saucy. If they don't get it together, they may not get the bye week at all, supposedly. And they still do have a chance, supposedly, because Lions got to face the 49ers, even though I think the Lions will edge out the 49ers and clean them up. And then Vikings, they have to face the Packers, which is a much bigger deal. And that's all very dependable on that. Because let's be honest, one thing's for sure, if Lions and Vikings keep on winning and they both go on to 14-2, the biggest match between them is going to happen where one of them is going to get that bye week and one of them is going to be pretty much the champions of the NFC North. Which means, yeah, Eagles, you're pretty much on the fire burner, because literally both the Packers and the 49ers have to upset the Lions and the Vikings just so you guys can just have a chance to stay in the mix. And I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, time will tell. Time will tell. All right. So going on up to the next one, we got. Let's see here. What else games we have? Not really that much important. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the Vikings. Vikings was another team that had made a big statement. The reason why I say the Vikings had made a statement is because when was over there having a conversation on another platform over there. Shout out to the JBJ Talk Sports channel. Y'all go over there and subscribe. Y'all go over there and tune over to them if you ever get a chance to. If you want to watch more sports talks and everything else, right? So we talked about the Vikings. Were the Vikings legit? Were the Vikings going to be a true contender, or were the Vikings going to do what the Vikings always do from the past year, moving on to this year? And the thing with this was, I truly do believe Vikings are good. My problem is with the Vikings is, are they going to show that they can truly step out and hold the field and lock down everybody else? That's my real issue. The thing is, Vikings versus Seahawks shouldn't have been this close, in my opinion. I think the Vikings should have really put a stamp of approval and said they're them, and really kept that more smaller and make the Seahawks more smaller than they should be, not letting Geno even get close enough to even put up 300 plus yards, which they did. So that tells me that's a little bit iffy on that. I mean, but it's pick and choose on that overall, right? But again, the fact that the game was that close, so right, that was one thing. Two, now you got to face the Lions again, and you got to face the Packers. Both two rivalry games, the last two games of the season, before you hit the playoffs. That's major, because that tells me a lot. That's going to tell me a lot now more than ever. You faced the Lions before. They're the ones that took your undefeated streak, and they beat you by 2 mere points. Could you flip it and beat them even severer than they beat you? Because remember, y'all undefeated. Now it's time for you to beat them and get that if you can. If you can't, that's going to be iffy. Then do the same thing again. Because now you also got to face the Packers. There's another team that's right behind your behinds. Again, so right now, the NFC North is really dominant right now, right? With all three of those teams. And if Vikings can't get over the Lions, the Packers, to a very standish position, then what belief do you have for that team overall? You don't. You don't have no belief for that team. So, that's something that you got to just watch out for the Vikings. Like I said, I believe the Vikings are a good team. They just gotta get it up there. They got to be more dominant. That's my main thing with them. They got to be more dominant, because if you remember what last year was, let's be honest, the only thing that's slightly different about the Vikings is what? The quarterback, and then what? Some of the pieces on the run game and everything else. But other than that, is like you're still plugging and playing the same pieces of guys on the receiving core. So, yeah, you want to really question what's going on, and so that's going to be the biggest factor right there amongst the Vikings. But one thing's for sure is Vikings are still a good team. They're still managing. They're still all good. But let's move on. Now, I didn't mention Buffalo Bills last week prior amongst the team that had made a statement. But one thing I will sit here and say is, Lord have mercy. I did not expect the Patriots to really come in this game and really put that work on the Bills enough to keep it a close game by 3 points. Bills, I'm telling you right now, if you let the Patriots late in this season do this to you, I feel sorry for y'all in the playoffs, because I don't think y'all gonna make it. Literally, this should not have been this close. Especially the way y'all been playing the other past 2 games, this should not have been this close. This shouldn't have been this close. And I know people are gonna say, bro, it's a rivalry game. Of course it was that close. Nah, bro. At this level, at this stage, when you want to try to make a statement for yourself, it shouldn't have been this close. It just shouldn't have been this close. I'm just going to be honest about that. It shouldn't have been that close. At all. At all. And speaking about the Cowboys from earlier, which I said I'll be facing the Eagles later on, they upsetted the Bucks. I did not expect this either. I mean, 2 points, but I still say this, though. Bucks are still a very ugly team to face. I don't care how much of a up downhill they are. Bucks are literally a team in the South. I will truly say is the most feared in the AFC. I mean, in the NFC South. That team is feared. You should fear that team coming out. I promise you this: if they're able to make it out of the AFC South, I'm not going to be surprised if they start giving people problems. I won't be surprised. It's just going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. And to talk about exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about dominance, the Packers literally packed out the Saints in a whopping 34-0 game. And what's so crazy is Jordan Love only did 182 passing yards. That's crazy. That's so crazy. You would think being packed out like that, you did something immaculate. No, they just did some small time work. Saints, y'all got a whole lot of things. Y'all got a whole lot of stuff to work on, boy. Y'all got a lot to work on. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But I got out of that, so let's get to the picks. Let's get in there. Let's get in here. So, first game, as y'all guys already know, that past day, you already seen what the board. You already see what I have the board on the community tab. So look, week 17, Wednesday. It's real simple. The whole crew had Chiefs winning this. Common sense. Let's go on to the next one. This one again, whole week. We all had the Ravens winning this game. You already know it's cleared. All right. So for the Thursday night football game of the week, we got Seattle Seahawks versus the Chicago Bears. And in this game, clean sweep for the Seahawks. All right, let's get in there. Next on up, we got the Saturday football games. And we got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the New England Patriots. We got a clean sweep on them Chargers winning this game. All right, another Saturday football game. We got the Denver Broncos going against the Seattle Bengals. In this game, I choose to go on the left hand of this deal, and I'm going with the Broncos, while Marcus and Jay are going with the Bengals. All right. If you're wondering why I'm choosing the Broncos, literally, Broncos. I mean, technically, do Broncos need this game to win? Yes and no. Yes, because if the Bengals were able to take every game last, and I think if they were to win almost every other game and win 9-8, they can probably screw themselves and get out of the wild cards. So they do need this just in case if they're in the mix of the wild cards potential. So yeah, they need every win they can get. They need every win. Same thing as Bengals. They need every win. This is actually a very important game, and I do expect this to be a good game because this is literally going to be that. But let's keep going. And then for Saturday night's football, we got the Arizona Cardinals going against the Los Angeles Rams. And in this game, me and Jay go for the Rams, but Marcus is going for the Cardinals in this game. So let's see what happens. This is definitely I forgot to really mark it, but yeah, this is actually an NFC West rivalry right here. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see who wins. I won't be surprised if the Cardinals win because their sneaky behinds will always somehow make the upset. I don't know how, but okay. Next line up, we got a rivalry game within the AFC East. We got the New York Jets going against the Buffalo Bills. And just like I talk about y'all being too close to the damn Patriots, y'all better make sure this game is devastating for the Jets. And that's why, because we got everyone going for the Bills for this game. Next on up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going against the New Orleans Saints. And in this game, me and Marcus are going with the Raiders. Jay is going with the Saints. All right. Next on up, we got the Indianapolis Colts going against the New York Giants. And in this game, we went clear shot for the Colts. Up next, we got the Dallas Cowboys going against the Philadelphia Eagles within the NFC East rivalry. And in this game, me and Jay went Eagles. Marcus went Cowboys. Eagles, if you lose against the Cowboys, you're going to make me regret picking you. Because honestly, I don't really believe in y'all anyways. I really don't. I really have no belief in them anyways. Next on up, we got another rivalry game in the NFC South, we got the Carolina Panthers going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we got the Bucs clear victory across the board. Next line up, we got the Tennessee Titans going against the Jacksonville Jaguars in a rivalry game of the AFC South. And in this, me and Marcus are going Titans. Jay's going with the Jags. So let's move on. And in this game, we got Miami Dolphins going against the Cleveland Browns. And in this one, we got a clean sweep for the Dolphins. I already know. Shout out to all my Sunshine State peoples. And in this game, we got an NFC rivalry game right here. We got the Minnesota Vikings going against the Green Bay Packers. And in this game, me and Jay are going with the Vikings. Mark is going with the Packers. All right, and so for the Sunday night game, we got the Atlanta Falcons going against the Washington Commanders. We got two rookie quarterbacks going against each other. We got Michael Penix Jr. going against Jaden Daniels. Now, I do believe because Jaden Daniels has been out there more, he's going to be more saucy in this game. But I would love to see these two go battle it out to see who's going to be the better quarterback on the field this day. This is going to be a nice game. I will definitely stay tuned to it to watch it. But for this game, it is a clear shot for the Commanders to win this game. It's a clear shot. All right. And next on up, Monday Night Football. We got the Detroit Lions going against the San Francisco 49ers. And in this game, it is a clean shot for the Lions. All right. A clean shot for the Lions. So, ladies and gentlemen, you already got all the games there. What do I say is going to be one of those top games overall? Let me see. So since we already passed these games already, as far as the first two, I'm not gonna really mention those. Even though the Kansas City Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens with, I ain't gonna lie though, Ravens and Texans was really a game to watch. Honestly, it wasn't really a game to watch. Chiefs Steelers was a game to watch, even though they fumbled the bag on that one. Lord have mercy, they fumbled the bag. Oh gosh. But games to watch: Denver and Broncos with Bengals, Cardinals with Rams for the simple fact of who's got a position in the NFC West. Honestly, low key, I ain't gonna lie. Jets and Bills, I will definitely watch this because if Bills look sluggish again, it's only gonna scream they're done. Cowboy, I ain't gonna lie, yeah. Cowboys, Eagles, just for some fact of playing screw job on the Eagles and lowering them down even further. Even though, hey, it's only gonna get worse. I'm telling you right now, if Jalen Hurts does not get back from concussion protocol, bro, Eagles is a wrap. It is a wrap. Y'all season is over. It is over. Of course, Green Bay Packers versus Vikings. That's going to be a game to watch. Like I said, I will watch Falcons versus Commanders. That'll be low-key a good game. Hopefully it is. And then, of course, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. I don't see Lions and 49ers being a good game. I think that's going to be a smash. So, yeah. So, those are all the games there, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look, y'all already know what time it is. Lock in. Do what you got to do. If you like what you saw today, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. If you don't, hit that dislike. Make your comments. Tell me about the show or what I've stated in the show. If you agree, disagree, somewhere in the middle, all that in a box of chips. And like I said, if you like what you saw, please consider subscribe to the channel. There will be more content here for you soon enough. And stay tuned. Peace.